Welcome to part 6 of this discourse, recorded on July 18th, 2020. Well, you say you want an easy solution. Well, you know, we all want to change the world. To talk about solutions requires facing the truth. The truth about the world as it is, Neo. The truth about the people that we are. We must shut the door, not just in a literal sense, but a spiritual sense on the darkness. Many scream for solutions in response to hearing about certain problems. But oftentimes what they're actually doing is they're ignoring the actual solutions presented because they don't agree with them. They don't want to move forward with them. Nor do they understand the problems. Okay, they distort the problem. They deflect. And we'll give various examples. But micro stories as we get started and we get warmed up. Some people will actually ask what the solution is to things that they actually cannot change while avoiding that which they can. Oh, dear, true God of this universe, not of this world, show us the things that we can change. Free us from the illusions. The wisdom to know the difference between the things that we can change, the things that we can affect, and the things that are there to test us. A person that used to consume my content, his question relating to, then how shall we stop the killing of these women and children, these people in these countries, in these places? And that is something that is beyond our control. And the answer, of course, given over Facebook. What a distorted medium. The answer relating to that question revolved around not supporting the wars in spirit, being against the desecration of those lands, the invasion of those lands, the murder of those people, supporting people that are speaking against those things, and this, in the end, this person could not do. The more simpler of the task. Asking a big question, something that's almost like, rhetorical then in the end. Well, how do we stop all this? You do your part to not be a part of it. To not be silent as it takes place under the guise of traditional religion. Well, isn't it us against them? Islam versus Christianity? Well, if I'm a Christian then, why would I then be against their deaths? If I'm told then that they are against me. There's plenty of people also that are not of the Islamic faith that would just be thrown into the pit or the box of the third world people, the non-Christians. So these people are blinded by their own ignorance. It is now at this time that we must see the patterns of deceptions from false teachers and truthers. Where there is one misdirection, ye shall find a pattern of self-serving other distortions. For example, you may see a patterning in which they're anti-vaccine, anti-GMO food, pro-vegan in some cases, anti-smart meters, anti-cell phones, and all these things may make up the collective truth or complex, the counterfeiting spirit manifesting in a collective manner in today's day and age with no real resistance to the murder and bloodshed that is taking place. And so we see this surface level compassion, nature worship thrown in, and now we're starting to understand why that is not the same thing as having a connection with the true God of this universe, but rather the God of this world. And so we see the worship of oneself, the worship of one's body, the fear of death. through the obsession with all that is organic, all that is perceived to be pure. As we see these micro obsessions manifesting in the greater world, as we see anti-GMO being perceived as purity, right? We see anti-mixed race humans, anti-hybrid humans. We see a return for a desire to see the pure human, the all organic human, the vegan human, the superman, unadulterated, uncontaminated by the other genetic codes of the forest. We see the worship of oneself, of one's breasts, of one's bodies, as they look in the mirror of social media, from TikTok to Instagram to Facebook to YouTube to all the rest. Mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the prettiest of them all? We see also how this lust for the earth woman dominates politics and is used to hypnotize people. Now, this is not something new. This is something the mainstream media has done for years. But we saw a particular model shifting 5 years ago, 10 years ago in the alternative media, where certain studios started to feature these women with their breasts popping out of their blouse. As we saw their audiences grow with horny young men and horny old women, in many cases, lusting after these perceived beautiful bodies. Old men, young women, old women, falling down and worshiping that ass. And in the end, being nothing more than an ass. In the world of ass politics. In a world where people are often referencing the raping of one's ass. And in some cases, cursing some people to be damned to a prison where their ass will be raped by people of certain ethnicities that they describe like animals, as they curse people to be imprisoned, to be raped like animals by other animals not like them in the ass. This is the fallen world of the ass politics. The solution is to rise above that type of android ape that in some cases is showing itself acting as if it is incapable of higher spirituality and understanding. The solution is the restoration of relationships, community, family, by speaking truth in words. And this is an old, ancient truth, because that is what the darkness of this world comes to disrupt. That is why certain truth speakers are attacked and slandered, and in some cases hide for their lives. Like a Gnostic being hunted in the time of Arianus, as if nothing on this planet has changed. That is the natural world. That is the way of this plane of reality. And this plane of reality is to be renounced. We are to renounce this world, for this is an evil world of flesh worship, where some flesh is worth more than the flesh of others. What is needed to even hear these words and understand these words is maturity and personal evolution. Without declaring war in spirit or in physical form, to refrain from exiling people that are different. This society has shown itself that it cannot accomplish some basic tasks such as this. And these things do not require money, fame, or fortune. These are things that are free. In the world of physicality, granted, this world we're more conscious and loving in a true sense, not a lustful sense. This world could change overnight if the higher self were to step in and intervene, a true divine intervention. This world must face itself. And it's not truly facing itself, gazing into the mirror. Mirror, mirror on the one. Who's the prettiest of them all? Who's the most liked of them all? And so basic spiritual truths have been overlooked by those that falsely think that they are giving praise to spiritual deities. As we look at many of the churches and institutions in this world, from the east to the west, we see in reality the worship of thought forms of their own creation. In truth, astral entities, not deities. There is a difference between the worship of one's own astral entity and spiritual deities. Many people may come around the worship of particular astral entities that may become powerful after a number of years with the power of technology, with the power of social media, with the power of certain entities trending by design and being featured in video games, thou which shall not be named. Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice. Something to that effect, as there's truth in our pop culture. While many people are playing with themselves and feeding themselves and shitting themselves and shitting on others, they're entertained by the gnosis and truth that's around them, yet shit on those that are actually in their real world, not the screen, that offer to bring them truth. And so we talk about solutions. Don't murder. Don't support those that murder. Don't support those that support the murderer, and don't support those that murder. And on it goes. This binds one to the karma of others. Don't lie about others so that they will be murdered, harmed, or exiled, or pushed into homelessness or poverty. That behavior binds one to wickedness and the corrupted spirit, the counterfeit spirit. Do not use technology to get drunk, to distract yourself, to numb out the pain, to entertain yourself. Be sober. And what you share, what you post, what you upload, what you speak of in the modern day and age, do what is right on the social media platforms. Do not attempt to gain dopamine pleasure by being liked or praised or popular or seen by millions of people as if it is raising you up to be a mighty beast among beasts in the land of the beasts. For that type of behavior will do nothing for you except keep you in the land of the beasts,